Brian Kelly was the worst head coaching hire from this entire offseason. George, what do you make of that statement?
I think that statement is so absurd. I think it's absurd. And honestly, I don't know who's supposed to fit in that answer. They went up against an opposite equal, first of all. They lost on a block extra point. All right, you're going to take an L or two here and there. LSU needed someone. They needed someone who's an alpha, a great game ball coach. Like, there's ball coaches, but I'm talking about somebody who in those critical moments can turn left or right and make the right decisions. And they needed a commander. No, you're not going to see him really doing the dances, and it is kind of corny in some of the stuff he does. And no, he's not going to be out there, with all the swagginess and all the cool. Like, that's just not what he does either. But he wins games. He was at a private college, a Catholic college, whose academic standards exclude him, honestly, from like 2/3 of all high school football players. Like, let's just get real. He can't go get the D tackle that Alabama's getting, even if that kid wanted to come there, because you can't get to school here. And over a 10-year process, wins all those games. So LSU now has him. They should honestly be so thankful and so fired up. Yes, we came out of the gates. We took a loss, but we can see what this looks like, and we're going to get a lot better. Brian Kelly's in a great position, and really, LSU, great for you on seeing this thing, pouncing on it, and trying to set yourself up to be a T-Rex again.
Felder?
I think that's wrong too. I don't know who the worst hire is, honestly. We'll find out over the course of this season. I know it's not Brian Kelly, and I know I've talked about what's this culture fit look like, what do these players look like how long can they put up with him or stand him. I think that's an interesting element that I don't think we talk about nearly enough, because when people hear culture fit, they think about, oh, well, he fakes a Southern accent or does all this stuff. When I talk about culture fit, and people talk about he's demanding, but he's not demonstrative, and talking to folks at Notre Dame, playing for Marcus Freeman, they like that a lot more than playing for Brian Kelly. Am I wrong, George?
No, but part of that is, let's just look. If you're running the show, or you're the captain of the ship, you're the admiral of a whole fleet, your voice does give sometimes. He's there a decade. So anybody that was going to be there, and really, we're really talking about the training staff or the strength, like the people who can go past like, it's probably going to have some type of wear. It's going to have some type of expiration date. But
that's what I'm getting at, and so I hope people understand what I'm talking about. Where it's the people that work with him, and it's also the people that, like, the players that are there for a long time. They're like, I don't need to get yelled at anymore. Like, this is the best I can do. Like, this is as good as it's going to get for me. So it's going to be interesting to see what that looks like at LSU when half the time they didn't want to listen to Ed Orgeron, and he's from there. So it's going to be really interesting. But he is a really good coach. He's a very good football coach, and he knows what he's doing. Obviously, this game didn't go the way he expected it to go. He course corrected a little bit too late, and he has to figure that out. But no, I don't think he's the worst hire of the offseason, like, not even by any stretch. And then I know we've got to get, I'm trying to go quick because I want to get all this stuff in there, Greg, so I don't want to step on your toes.
You're good.
But is Jaden Daniels the right guy for the job at QB? I think he's the only guy right now because he's the only one that we've seen, right?
I think he has to be, right? I mean, look, there was one thing that popped through my mind as I'm watching this game play out and roll off the tracks down the stretch of that game, right? When they get the ball and have to go 99 yards in a minute, that was the first time all game that it flashed in my mind I don't know that there's a more comfortable quarterback in the country in this type of crazy setting of needing to lead a comeback on the fly and freelance and make the right moves and use your legs and just make plays. Because I've seen him do that after dark in late night West Coast games where he's either down 20 points or they have a big lead and they blow it. Whatever Pac-12 football has been happening for his career at Arizona State, that was the first moment. Like, he played a fine game, I thought, before that. But when the ball was in his hands, knowing they needed their back against the wall in that crazy setting, I'm like, he can do this. And then you saw it play out with your own eyes. So I think it's crazy to think that he wouldn't be the guy at this point, but that's me. George, do you stand on my side with that?
What, in regards to a quarterback change?
Is Daniels the right guy at quarterback for Brian Kelly and this team?
Well, so I look at that like this. You have who you have. Like, they've already set sail. Everybody in that LSU football building that's in here, season started.
We're very nautical tonight.
Yeah, very nautical. No one else is coming. You have who you have. You evaluated him on the way into the building. You signed off. He's in there. He's giving you his all. Yes, in the first half, it looked real pedestrian. He was pulling it down. And I'm like, how many quarterback prescribed runs can you really do against Florida State? At some point, you're going to have to start reading defense. Okay, second half, he showed you. He stepped into it. Coach Kelly was like, oh, you in? Oh, well, hell, then. And then they both stepped in together, so they showed you. So, yes, I think they're going to be fine because they got tested early. Mind you, had they played Louisiana Crawfish and Crawdad Tech, and they rolled them 65-0 and learned nothing about each other, and that game was really decided at birth, you wouldn't have learned anything. Florida State, we were in the compressor together. We were in that heat together. And so we get a chance to read each other, see each other. We're in the sideline really having these big tactical discussions about how we can get this done. Watch 44, watch 92. Coach, I got you, but make sure you got the next play for me. They're like, in real time, the fire is gonna mold the two of them. So yes, LSU right now, it is Jaden Daniels. I thought that he took a giant step in the fourth quarter, and yeah, they got their leader and they got their general. They're set and situated.
Brian Kelly gave us a phenomenal quote, by the way, at halftime of the game yesterday. He said, "We can't play any worse." And then he stopped himself and said, "Well, I don't know if we can play worse. This is my first game here. We might play worse." He keeps it real, man. He does. And he's good for a few of those quotes every single year. I appreciate that. All right.
What's going on, guys? Rob Doster here, the founder of the Field of 68 and the Field of 12 Media Networks. I wanted to take a quick minute to let you guys know about an exciting new project that we have been working on for the last 3 months. The Almanac, an all-encompassing preview of the 2022-23 college basketball season. We spoke with every single Division I head coach to give you a robust and accurate preview for all 363 Division I college basketball teams. We have predictions for conference finishes for all 32 leagues. We have features on the best freshmen, the best big men, the breakout stars, the coaches on the hot seat, so much more. It is 600,000 words of sheer happiness for the college basketball fan in your life. The Almanac is going to be available for digital purchase on September 26th for just $19.99, but you can pre-order it today using the promo code HOOPS and save 20%. Just hit the link in the description below.